You know that feeling, right? You're about to speak English and suddenly your brain just hits the pause button. Well, today we're going to talk about exactly that, how to unfreeze your English and finally speak with the confidence you've been looking for. So let's get right into it. I mean, does this look familiar? You've practiced, you know the words, you might even know the grammar, but the second it's your turn to talk, poof, it's all gone. Like a switch just flips off in your head. It is so frustrating. And that feeling, well, that's what we call freezing. So, what is actually happening in that moment? Freezing is basically when the connection between your brain and your mouth just breaks. A great way to think about it is like your computer crashing. You had all these programs running perfectly, but then a little bit of pressure, a little bit of anxiety, and the whole system just shuts down. Now, listen, here's probably the most important thing I'm going to say. If this happens to you, it does not mean you're bad at English. Not at all. This is an incredibly common, totally normal part of learning a language. Seriously, millions of people feel this, even speakers who are pretty advanced. So right now, let go of that idea that you're the only one. You are definitely not alone in this. Okay, so let's play detective for a minute. If it's not about your actual English ability, then what's really causing this freeze? Because, figuring out the root cause, that's the only way we're going to solve it. Yeah, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it turns out there isn't just one single answer. It's actually a mix of what's going on inside our heads, our fears and feelings, and the mental habits we've built up over time without even realizing it. Let's break those down. It pretty much boils down to two big categories. On one side, you have the emotional stuff, that fear of making a mistake, that little voice in your head worried about what people will think. Then on the other side, you have these mental habits we get stuck in, like trying to translate every single word from your native language or trying to speak way too fast. These two things feed each other and create, well, the perfect storm for freezing up. And this creates this really nasty cycle. Think about it. You freeze, so you stop talking. When you stop talking, you don't get practice. When you don't get practice, your confidence tanks, which of course makes you even more likely to freeze the next time. It's a trap. And it keeps you from getting better and, more importantly, from actually connecting with people. Okay, so we get the problem, we see the cycle. Now for the good news. This is not a life sentence. It is absolutely something you can fix. You just need the right tools in your toolkit. So here it is, a simple 4-step plan to break that cycle. Step 1 happens right in that moment you feel the freeze coming. Just breathe. Give yourself permission to pause and slow down. Step 2 is a total mindset shift. You have to start seeing mistakes as your teachers, not your enemies. They're proof you're trying. Third, we build a new habit. Start training your brain to think in English. It can be super simple, like, the sky is blue today. And finally, step 4 is all about consistency. You have to practice every day, even if you're just describing the room you're in to yourself. These small actions, they really do lead to huge changes. And here's a fantastic little trick you can use immediately. Have a few filler phrases ready to go. Think of it like a safety net. It gives your brain a quick second to catch up without an awkward, dead silence. Something as simple as, let me think for a moment, or that's an interesting question. It's completely natural and it takes all the pressure off. All right, we're getting to what I think is the most important piece of this whole puzzle. It's not about tips or tricks anymore. This is about completely changing your goal. I want you to really let that sink in. Your goal is not perfect English. Your goal is communication. People aren't listening to you with a red pen, grading your grammar. They're listening to connect with you, to understand your ideas. The moment you truly believe that connection matters more than perfection, that fear of making mistakes, it starts to just melt away. Think about it this way. Have you ever seen a baby learning to walk and criticize them when they fall down? Of course not. You cheer for them just for trying. You need to treat your English journey the exact same way. Every time you open your mouth to speak, you're taking a step. Freezing, that's just a little stumble. The only thing that matters is that you get back up and try again. So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Not for next week, not even for tomorrow, for today. What is one small thing you'll try to say in English today? It doesn't have to be a big conversation. It can be a single phrase you say out loud to yourself. The point is to take one tiny, immediate step forward. So, what's yours going to be?
Okay, so picture this. You're in an English conversation. Maybe it's a work meeting or just chatting with someone you met, and you know what you want to say. The words are right there, but then, poof, nothing comes out. Your mind just like, it's a wall, you freeze. Sound familiar? Yeah, that feeling, that kind of momentary paralysis, it happens to almost everyone learning English, honestly, even really advanced speakers sometimes. And the first thing to get is you're definitely not alone, and it doesn't mean your English is bad. So today we're doing a deep dive into this whole thing we're calling freezing in English conversations. Our mission, really, is to get under the hood, understand why it happens, the real reasons, and then, crucially, give you some practical strategies and a solid routine to help you break through it and, speak with more confidence. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And it's so important to unpack because we're not just talking about forgetting a word here and there.
Right.
This goes deeper. It's about how language, memory, stress, even like social feelings all interact. Understanding why your brain sometimes hits pause under pressure, well, that's the key to actually retraining it. It leads to real growth, better connections. It's about making your brain work for you, not just cramming in more vocabulary.
Okay, so freezing. Let's be clear. We don't mean feeling cold.
Yeah.
We mean that specific moment where it feels like your brain and your mouth just disconnect. You might have the idea perfectly clear, maybe even in your own language, or the English words are almost there. But that connection to actually saying them, it just vanishes. It feels like your mind goes empty, like a computer crashing right when you need it.
That's a great analogy, the computer crash.
Yeah, and you see it happen everywhere, right? Like, maybe in class, the teacher asks a question, you know the answer in your head, maybe in your native language, but then switching to English. Blah, blah, blah. Or someone asks a simple, how are you? And you just kind of smile because you feel shy or suddenly unsure how to respond, even though you know perfectly well how.
Exactly. It can happen in job interviews, just talking to foreigners you meet, even on, video calls these days.
So what's the root cause here? Because you hear people say, oh, I just forgot the word, but it sounds like it's more than that.
It usually is. What's fascinating here is freezing is very often not about forgetting English words or grammar you've learned.
Okay.
It's more about stress or fear or maybe just feeling under pressure. Those feelings can actually stop your brain from working smoothly. They prevent you from accessing the language that you already know.
Yes,
Like the knowledge is there, but the door to get to it slams shut for a second.
Okay, that clicks. It's not a knowledge problem, it's an access problem, triggered by stress. So why do people freeze? Let's dig into the why.
Right.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because there are several common reasons, and as we go through them, you might find yourself nodding along thinking, yeah, that's me.
Mm-hmm. And often it's a mix of these things.
Okay, so what's the first big one?
Well, a huge one is the fear of making mistakes. That inner voice saying, what if I use the wrong word? Is my grammar okay? Oh God, what if they laugh at me?
That constant worry.
Exactly. And that worry itself, that fear, it just blocks the words from coming out. It creates hesitation. And then the moment passes.
Okay, fear of mistakes. What else?
Then there's just a general lack of confidence. Maybe you just believe your English isn't good enough, or you compare yourself to others and think, oh, they're so much better.
Yeah, the comparison trap.
Right. And that leads to shyness. You just stay quiet because you don't feel confident enough to jump in.
Makes sense. What about vocabulary? Does that play a role?
It can, yeah. A smaller active vocabulary can be a factor. If you're searching really hard for that perfect word and you can't find it quickly.
The silence stretches.
Exactly. The silence grows, the pressure builds, and maybe you just give up trying to say the thing you wanted to say. So it's not just size, but how quickly you can access the words you need.
Gotcha. Okay, number 4.
Translating directly from your native language. This is a big one for many learners. You're mentally forming the sentence in your first language, then translating it word for word or phrase for phrase into English.
Which takes time.
Way too much time in a real conversation. While you're busy translating, the other person is waiting, the conversation might move on, and boom, you freeze because you're still stuck in that translation process.
Right, you're lagging behind mentally. What else contributes?
Feeling the pressure to speak fast. Sometimes learners try to sound like native speakers, mimicking their speed before their own brain and mouth are really ready for it.
Trying to run before you can walk, kind of?
Sort of, yeah. Your processing speed might not be there yet, and trying to force it just leads to tripping up, getting flustered, and freezing.
Okay. And I guess closely related to fear of mistakes is fear of being judged.
Definitely. Number 6 is that fear of judgment. Worrying specifically about your accent, perhaps, or thinking people will find how you speak silly or strange.
Mm-hmm.
That social pressure, worrying about what others think, can be incredibly powerful and just shut you down.
It really can. Okay, one more.
The last one we often see is overthinking. Your brain just gets totally overloaded. You're trying to think about grammar rules and find the right vocabulary and get the pronunciation right and pay attention to the other person's reaction.
All at the same time.
All at once.
Yeah.
It's too much cognitive load and the system just jams, freezes.
Wow. Okay, so fear of mistakes, low confidence, vocabulary access, translating, pressure to be fast, fear of judgment, and overthinking. That's quite a list.
It is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what's fascinating here is how many of these really boil down to social anxiety and performance pressure rather than just, not knowing enough English.
That really validates the feeling, doesn't it? It's not just about the language itself.
Precisely. It helps people understand it's often an emotional and psychological response, not purely a linguistic one.
So what does this all mean then? Why is this feeling of freezing triggered by these reasons such a big deal for your English growth? Does it really matter that much?
Oh, it matters hugely. There are some major negative effects.
Like what?
Well, first and most obviously, it stops your practice. Language is a skill you build by doing. If you freeze and don't speak, you're simply not getting the practice you absolutely need to improve to make those connections stronger.
You're stuck on the sidelines.
Exactly. Second, it really lowers your confidence. Every time you freeze, it can reinforce that negative self-talk we mentioned. See, I can't speak. My English is hopeless.
Which makes you more nervous next time.
Creating a downward spiral. More nervousness leads to more freezing, which tanks your confidence even further. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I can see that. And the third thing,
it makes you miss opportunities. Real life opportunities. Think about it. Every time you freeze and stay quiet, maybe you miss the chance to make a connection with someone new, share a great idea in a work meeting, ask a question you needed answered, or even just make a friend.
Oof. Yeah. Those aren't just missed practice moments, those are missed life moments.
They really are. So, freezing has a big effect on your whole learning journey and how you engage with the world in English.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the crucial part, you can break the cycle. Understanding why it happens is the first step.
Okay, that's the hopeful part. So let's pivot. We understand the what and the why and the impact. Now let's get practical. What can you actually do starting today to stop freezing, or at least freeze less often?
Right, let's talk solutions. There's some really effective strategies.
Okay, lay them on us. What's the first tip?
First one, slow down and breathe. Seriously. When you feel that panic rising or your mind starting to go blank, consciously pause. Take a small, deliberate breath.
Instead of trying to power through.
Exactly. Don't push harder, pause smarter. Remind yourself that even native speakers pause to think. It gives your brain a vital second to reset, to calm that stress response.
Okay, pause and breathe. Simple, but sounds powerful. What's next?
Use safe, simple phrases. Have a few go-to phrases ready in your back pocket for when you get stuck. Things like, could you repeat that, please? Or, made you think for a moment. Or even, how do you say?
Ah, like little conversational life rafts.
Precisely. They keep the conversation flowing, show you're engaged, but buy you precious time without the pressure of producing complex sentences immediately.
Smart. Okay, number 3.
Build your vocabulary step by step and use it. Don't try to learn hundreds of words at once. Focus on learning just a few new words or phrases each day. But the key is to actively practice using them.
Not just memorize lists.
Right. Use them when you talk to yourself. Try them in a conversation. Make them active, not passive. This strengthens the recall pathways.
Makes sense. What about that translation issue we talked about?
Address it directly. Think in English. This is crucial. Make a conscious effort to stop translating in your head. Start small. Narrate simple things around you directly in English. This is my phone. The sky is blue today. I feel hungry.
Like building a new mental habit.
Exactly. You're training your brain to bypass the translation step, making your thought-to-speech process faster and smoother over time.
Okay. What about the fear of mistakes? How do you tackle that?
You have to accept mistakes, reframe them. They aren't enemies, they're teachers. Seriously, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. See them as proof you're trying, you're learning, you're stretching yourself.
Easier said than done sometimes, but a crucial mindset shift.
It really is. Let go of perfectionism. Communication is the goal, not flawless grammar every single time.
Right. What if you do forget a word, though, even if you're trying not to freeze?
Use your body language. Communication is so much more than just words. If you can't find the exact word, use your hands, your facial expressions, change your tone of voice, point, gesture, act it out a little if you need to.
Circumlocution, basically. Talking around the word.
Yes, or just using nonverbal cues to help get your meaning across while your brain catches up or finds an alternative word. Don't just stand there silently.
Good point. Okay, we need practice, but sometimes practicing with people is the scary part.
So practice with yourself. This is incredibly valuable and low pressure. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Record your voice on your phone talking about your day. Describe what you're doing as you do it.
Like narrating your own life?
Kind of.
Yeah.
This daily solo practice builds fluency, strengthens those neural pathways, and gets your mouth used to forming English sounds without any external pressure or judgment.
Love that. Okay, one last tip.
Stay calm under pressure. Before you go into a situation where you might feel nervous, a meeting, a phone call, take a moment. Use positive self-talk. Tell yourself, I can do this. It's okay if I make mistakes. I'll speak slowly and clearly.
Priming yourself for success.
Exactly. Managing your mindset before the pressure hits can make a huge difference in preventing the freeze response from taking over.
Those are 8 really solid tips. Slow down, use safe phrases, build vocab actively, think in English, accept mistakes, use body language, practice solo, and stay calm.
Mm-hmm. And this raises an important question. How do these tips actually work together? Well, they essentially give control back to you, the learner. They shift your focus away from the fear and onto active, manageable strategies.
Taking the power back from the panic.
Precisely.
Okay, that's fantastic advice. But knowing what to do is one thing, doing it consistently is another. So to make this really concrete for everyone listening, we've pulled together a super simple daily practice routine, just 15 minutes based on these ideas.
Yeah, consistency is key, even in small doses.
Right. So the routine has 3 steps. First step, for 5 minutes, self-talk. Just find a quiet moment, maybe when you're making coffee or commuting, and talk to yourself in English.
Out loud or just in your head?
Either works, but out loud is often better for practicing pronunciation too. Just narrate your day, your thoughts. Okay, I'm drinking my tea now. It's hot. Later, I think I'll go shopping. Simple stuff.
Got it. 5 minutes of self-talk. Step 2.
Step 2, another 5 minutes. Shadowing. Find a short audio or video clip, like you said, a podcast bit, a news segment, whatever. Play a sentence, pause, and then repeat it immediately, trying to copy the speaker's rhythm, intonation, everything.
So mimicking native speech patterns directly.
Exactly. It trains your mouth and your ear simultaneously.
Okay, in the last 5 minutes.
The final 5 minutes. Practice with another person or record yourself. This is the interactive part. Maybe chat briefly with an English-speaking friend or colleague, or join a quick online speaking group. Or if that's too much pressure initially, just record yourself answering simple questions like, what did you do yesterday? Or what are your plans for the weekend?
So active output in a slightly more structured way.
Right. Just getting used to producing language spontaneously.
So 5 minutes self-talk, 5 minutes shadowing, 5 minutes interactive practice or recording. That's it, 15 minutes.
That's the core routine, just 15 minutes a day.
And, that might sound short, but doing this consistently, day after day, it really works.
Yeah.
It systematically trains your brain to think directly in English, makes retrieving words more automatic, builds pronunciation muscle memory through shadowing, and gradually reduces the anxiety around speaking through that interactive practice.
Yeah.
It makes these strategies stick.
It really chips away at the problem over time.
Definitely. It's about building momentum and confidence through small, achievable steps.
So if you're listening and you often find yourself freezing, please remember, this is so normal. You are absolutely not alone in this. It's not a sign you're bad at English. It's actually a sign your brain is working hard, adjusting to this really complex new skill.
Absolutely. I love the analogy of a baby learning to walk. Think about it. They fall constantly, right? They wobble, they stumble, they lose their balance again and again.
All the time.
But they don't just give up. They keep trying. They pull themselves up, maybe cry a bit, then try again. And eventually, they walk confidently without even thinking about it. Your English journey, it's just like that. Freezing is just a stumble, a small fall. You get back up.
That's a fantastic way to look at it.
And remember, the ultimate goal here, it's communication. It's connecting with people. It's not about achieving some mythical, perfect English. Honestly, most people you talk to, they want to hear your ideas, your story, your feelings. They're usually not fussed about small grammar mistakes or if your accent is different. They want to understand you.
That is so crucial to internalize. Focus on connection, not perfection.
Exactly.
So the next time you feel that nervousness creeping in, that feeling like you might freeze, Try telling yourself, it's okay, my brain's just doing its thing. I can handle this. Take that breath we talked about. Acknowledge the feeling. Maybe use a safe phrase and just keep going. Because every single attempt, even if you feel stuck for a second, even if it's not perfect, it's making you stronger. It's retraining that response.
Every single time.
So we've really dived deep today, haven't we? We've gone from understanding what freezing feels like and the cognitive, the emotional reasons behind it, right through to getting some powerful practical tips and even that simple 15-minute routine you can start using.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
And the core message, I think, is pretty clear. Freezing is normal, it happens, but it's not permanent. You absolutely can reduce it step by step with the right practice, building confidence, and importantly, having the right mindset about it all.
Absolutely. And just remember, these big changes in fluency and confidence, they don't happen overnight. It's all about those small, consistent steps adding up over time. Keep applying these strategies, keep doing that little bit of practice each day. You're literally rewiring your brain for better communication.
Yeah.
And one day, maybe sooner than you think, you really will look back and realize, wow, I used to get so stuck, but now I can just speak. I can express myself freely. That's the goal.
That really is the goal, isn't it? Speaking freely. What a great thought to aim for. So as you finish listening today, maybe as you go about the rest of your day, here's something to consider. Thinking of your own English journey and everything we've talked about. What is one small, tangible step, maybe from the tips, maybe from the routine that you will commit to doing today to start unfreezing your confidence and get just that little bit closer to speaking English without that fear holding you back?